All right, we have visual confirmation. The webinar looks good. We'll do an audio check here. We'll get started in exactly 1 minute, folks, because we are on time. I have my host on the other line. He's muted his microphone, but Jim, if you give me a quick hand raise or shout out that you can hear me okay?
Yep, things sound great.
Outstanding. All right, we'll get started in 30 seconds. Next time we should have music here. This would be good.
Well, hello, everybody. This is Jim Graham, and I'm really, really excited to see you all on this webinar. You are going to be in for a treat. This is really, really something amazing, in for a treat for sure. We're going to talk about how you can get thousands of targeted hits to your website or landing page with a new way of getting traffic that literally most people can't even achieve because A, either they don't know how to, or B, they don't have the credentials to do this.
Everybody, this is Jim Graham, and I'm really, really
So
excited
what
to
we're
see you
going
all.
to do is we're going to get started right now with Doug. Doug, can you hear me okay?
I certainly can. Thank you very much. Are you ready? My name is Doug Crowe, and we are going to talk today about this topic, right? Getting targeted hits to your website or landing page, but more importantly, creating that crowd of hungry buyers. So the way I do that is I'm going to show you by teaching you how authentic experts, and when I say the word authentic, I don't mean the person who just says, hey, I'm somebody, blah, blah, blah. I'm talking about authentic people, and they don't necessarily have to have a blog or perhaps are not big on Facebook or doing podcasts, but they definitely sell and they leverage their personal brand. And when they do that, they get connected to the national recognized media. So it's a very different concept for a lot of people because most people believe that, oh, those are just for the A-listers. Just the big guys can get on, TV and radio and the news. And I want you to sit back and take all your assumptions, all your expectations, and just toss them out the window. And we're going to use a little visual representation of that to help you reset your mindset and just basically let's go back to the 80s, shall we? Let's go back to the Apple with that beautiful color logo here. And their concept wasn't, I've got a new computer, I've got a better way to there was no internet then. I've got a better way to actually, do things with a computer. All they said was think different. And if you can embrace that one concept in the next 50, 60 minutes, you'll be far and away ahead and above your competition in a way that you've never imagined before. All right, that's a big, bold claim, but I'm telling you, if you've just been in business just for a few months, you can be in the media by the end of the week, and you can explode on the scene and blast past your competition. All right? Now, in order to think different, I'm going to give you one more visual way to think different, okay? What is that corn doing here? Okay, it's not candy corn. It's a real corn kernel. And I want you to keep that on the back burner here for a minute, because with that in mind, we're going to learn a whole lot about business with that corn kernel. I'm not talking about farming. I'm talking about actually building your business, all right? And the way we do that in the media, it's a little bit different. It's not one of those things where, let me just phrase it this way. We are not doing any direct sales on this webinar. Matter of fact, it's impossible to actually sell what we're going to be discussing to a large audience. We have a large audience on. We appreciate you being on. But the only way this is going to work for you at the end of the webinar is there's an application process, and you'll understand why that is in a minute. So there's no direct sales, so you can sit back and relax. But we do have some applications. If what I talk about in the first 50, 55 minutes is of interest to you, then I'm going to go and take some applications at the end. Is that fair? I'm going to teach you everything I've got, all we can do with getting you targeted hits and getting you recognized in media. At the end of that, there'll be some applications available for those who qualify, all right? So back to the thinking different. There's an old quote from an old guy. He's not old, he's not with us, but this is Albert Einstein, if you don't recognize him. And this famous quote, what he said was, we cannot solve our problems with the same thinking we used when we created them, which goes back to, geez, you know, what is my problem with my business? If you use the exact same thinking you used to get there, well, phew, you're in trouble. Okay, you've got to have some new tools, some new way of actual thinking about it. So we'll get to that in a second. Let me give you a quick introduction of who I am. I'm a former ABC radio host. I'm a business owner and the founder of a company called Author Your Brand. We create books for people who want to become known and become basically the credible expert in their field. I'm also a journalist with Newswire. And with those two skill sets and experiences, I'm able to work with professionals and entrepreneurs to eliminate a bunch of myths and actually eliminate the overwhelm it takes to get there. We do that by becoming a recognized expert, okay? Recognized by whom? Not by your mom or your Facebook post, okay? But recognized by the media. And being a journalist gives you a huge edge on being able to pull it off for people. So let's discuss you now. That's a little bit about me. But what have you done, and what are you probably doing right now to build your business? Okay, people say you got to have a website, Doug. Yes, you have to have a website. It's literally impossible to be a significant business and to be in the media and to get a lot of traffic to your website if you don't have one. So I'm assuming everybody has a website here. If you don't, get one. And you could spend, you know, less than this, more than this. It doesn't matter. You're going to spend some money building a website. And after you have a website, you better have people coming to you. You better have a professional profile. So where are professional profiles done? Well, professional ones are done on LinkedIn. And to do it well with good graphics and good writing for that, most people think it's still a resume, and it's not a resume. It's got to be a story on there where you got to engage people. It has to be keyworded properly. There's a lot of nuances to doing a good LinkedIn profile. So you better invest some time and money with that to do a good job with that. What about YouTube? You know, video is now all the rage on the internet. A few years ago, it was hard to get the bandwidth to make sure we could even watch video. Now look at this. We're doing a webinar right now, and basically it's streaming live video for you if you're watching a recording. The bottom line is you've got to have video in your business. Is that done through YouTube? Yeah. Does it cost money? Of course. You've got to have good graphics or editing to get your videos done well. And then you've got to spend some time. You can't do it without investing time in your business. If you're not available, if you're not seen, if you're not aware, people recognize you online, you better do something else. So blogging is very popular. We are taught that bloggers make a lot of money. When you blog, you put new, fresh content on your website on a weekly basis or even a daily basis. That takes time and money. And maybe we are taught that's the way to get noticed. That's the way to become professional. Is that working? No, we need to do more than that. That's not enough. So we have to have a Facebook account as well. And to do a proper Facebook page, you need to spend money on graphics, and you need to go and get shares and likes and do engagement and spend a lot of time, a lot of your valuable time to build your Facebook profile and your landing in your company page, etc., your groups, going there and contributing and chat with people to make sure that you are recognized as somebody that knows what they're talking about. Is that all enough to make your business rock and roll here? No, it's not. You need to have some SEO, because without some proper search engine optimization, all those properties, the blog, your YouTube channel, your website, they all get lost. So you have to SEO and make sure that those content pieces you put out there actually get seen by somebody. Does that work for everybody? Heck no, because everyone's doing that. So you got to do more things. So what we've been doing for many years is helping people create a professional book, a solid platform that puts them on Amazon, makes them a bestseller. And that's not an inexpensive thing to do. You've got to do a really good job having a professional copywriter and designers, launch team to make sure that book goes somewhere. That takes a huge amount of resources to pull it off. Is anybody tired yet? See the little hand down there on the left side. You'll see a little. Go ahead and click that. If you're looking at all this time and money invested in your business, it makes you tired. It's going to be even worse so, because you have to ask yourself this question. After investing all this resource, all this money and time into your web properties, you know, what's it doing for you? What's your return on your investment? How much are you making after investing all this money and all these hours and hours and hours of your time? I've heard a lot of people aren't even making minimum wage with their efforts. If you are making more than minimum wage, well, that's good. You're one of the lucky few. Most do not. But regardless of where you are or how much you're making or what you've done, there's one more thing that is not talked about much, and it's something I'm going to just hit you right between the eyes with, folks, and that's this. We are taught and told and sold to that if you build all these things, if you build it, they will come. If you build your YouTube channel, you'll have a lot of business. If you start blogging, you'll be a millionaire. If you do the video, if you do the Facebook, if you do the LinkedIn, if you build it, they will come, is what I've been taught. Matter of fact, we were taught that not just in the internet, but before the internet. Anybody remember this movie, Field of Dreams? Kevin Costner? Great movie. Very inspiring, right? I mean, it was a good movie about this guy who was a farmer, and he heard these voices. He's supposed to build something, and then his baseball team from the past would come to his baseball diamond and play ball. And the American dream would be revitalized by building this baseball field in the middle of nowhere. Hugely inspirational and a moving, fun movie. Okay, remember that voice? If you build it, they will come. Well, here's a shot between the eyes. This comes from somebody else you may or may not like, but it's true, I'm sorry. How's that working for you? If you built all that stuff, the YouTube, the Facebook, the LinkedIn, the blog, the SEO, all that stuff, how is that working for you? Well, most of us are saying, well, you know, it's not working well. I wouldn't be on this webinar if it wasn't working well. So what do? You spend all this time and money on your websites and your properties. What do you actually do? Well, for most people, they want to get noticed. How do you get noticed? Advertising. That's what everybody else does. It's a $1 trillion industry, right? It is also extremely annoying to be going online, reading an article, and all of a sudden there's an ad that pops up, or an ad that slides, or an ad that followed you around from wherever you were with this pixel thing, right? Advertising is annoying. And because it's interrupting where you're already going, it's not only annoying, it can be confusing. I was here, how did I end up on this web page, you might ask yourself. Well, 3 clicks ago, you're reading something interesting, and you clicked on one thing, it took you somewhere else, all of a sudden you forgot where you started. Raise your hand if that's ever happened to you. It's happened to me. I mean, these people are good. They spend billions of dollars to pull you away from what you're looking at, to take you what they want you to look at. Okay, and when they say, billions of dollars, that's, amongst, hundreds of thousands of companies that do that, or millions of companies technically. The bottom line is, advertising is all of these things. It's annoying, it's distracting, confusing, expensive. It's one way to get noticed, and it works, but it does not come without a huge expense. Okay, so if you've done that well, next question is, are you actually tracking your advertising? Or do you have traffic right now? Where's traffic coming from? Who is the people that are coming there? How long did they stay on your site? Why did they leave? Did they click on anything? Did they buy anything? Or more importantly, because as you know, for every 100 people that come to your site, most of them leave, right? They didn't sell or buy or do anything. So if they clicked on something and they didn't buy, do you know why? Because if you don't, you just spend a bunch of your time and money driving a person there, and they leave and you have no idea why they left. So tracking your internet traffic it's a science, it's also an art, and 99% of you aren't doing it right. So after you build it, it's really about one big thing, guys. One thing. After you build all this stuff, it's about the traffic. You need quality targeted visitors, right? Not just targeted to your website, okay, but really targeted to you as a personal brand. Because people don't buy products from companies. They buy services, they buy solutions from people. Okay, we'll keep that in mind. So how do you get traffic? You need it. You built your Facebook page, you built your LinkedIn profile, you've done your YouTube channel. Maybe you do some Google ads. Those are very popular. It's made Google a multi-billion-dollar company for good reason. Those ads that show up at the top of Google and on the right side, people often click on those. Okay, not as often as the ones that aren't ads. Okay, not by a long shot, but you can do Google ads. You can do pay per action. You can go on Fiverr and get thousands of people going to your website. Unfortunately, it's garbage traffic 99% of the time. You could do Facebook ads. There's a lot of people teaching entrepreneurs how to do advertising on Facebook. And as more people do it, it gets more expensive and more crowded. You could advertise on other people's blogs. You can do podcasting. Heck, you could even get software that sends you traffic. Okay, there's a lot of ways to get traffic to your website. But you are on this webinar because you are not satisfied with the traffic you're getting right now. Am I right? Because otherwise, I don't know why you'd be here. Okay, so most people are not satisfied with the amount of traffic and the quality of the traffic that they're getting right now. You know, a typical marketer, I'm sorry, the typical marketer is just not getting the results. And it's not your fault. You've just been taught wrong. You've been taught through the social media, the podcast, the engagement, all the community stuff, blah, 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 blah. Okay, here's the question you should ask yourself. Are you being found on the #1 page on Google for your keyword phrase? Are you? And not some keyword phrase that is, 25 words long that nobody's searching for. It might not be a #1 keyword, but a keyword phrase that people are actually searching for. Are you on Google on the first page? See, I'm going to share with you in a few minutes how you can be found on page 1 of Google over and over again, not just once or twice, but hundreds of times per day, giving you thousands of targeted hits to your website. Now, this is instant targeted traffic. And what that means, and from a business standpoint, is very, very simple. Suppose you've got a product, and I hope you do. Suppose the product is only a $97 product. Okay, if you had 1,000 targeted hits to your website, just 1,000, and your website had some kind of performance standards, right? It converted at 10%. Well, a 10% conversion on 1,000 targeted hits on a $97 product, it's close to 10 grand, $9,700 in revenue. So even if 1,000, targeted hits are sent there, which is not a lot, not a big number, that's $10,000. Okay, and this is not garbage traffic; it's just targeted traffic. Critical point there. So here's my new way of getting this done for you, right? I write quality articles that news sites want to reproduce. Okay, I share these articles with other news websites. These news websites share it as well, and they do all this automatically. Then the most important part to pull this off is that someone goes to create converting sales copy. Now, converting sales copy is something that if you ask any serious marketer, I'm talking about people that do 7 or 8 figures, they easily spend $25,000, $30,000, $50,000 for converting sales copy. They do this because they can do a very, very significant amount of business when they invest in high-level copywriting. Because if you have a sales letter that goes out to a large audience, $25,000 is nothing to have that convert into a $200,000, $300,000, $500,000 of business by doing a well-crafted letter. Now, what I'm going to be discussing with you, getting that same quality writing, that same quality experience for the reader, but even in a better way. Because in this case, I'm writing converting sales copy, converting article without selling at all. Because what we do is we story tell. And this is even better than doing a compelling advertisement, because you're telling a story in the news where people are actually reading it and they're taking action. Okay, so when you're storytelling, you're not selling. That makes sense? Click your button there, raise your hand if you think it makes sense. Yes, I get that, all right? And the reason that's understood by people is because they've done it for other people before. They've actually shared these articles. And what I do is I share this very special article with not just my friends and family. I share it with the top 250 plus news sites from around the world. The reason I'm able to do this is I'm a journalist myself. In other words, a layman doesn't have these credentials to get in into these doors, right? There's no credentials, there's no door. It's as simple as that. Now, in order for this to work, the news sites have to actually like my article, because if they don't like it, it goes nowhere. When they do like it, it goes viral. It doesn't always happen 100% of the time, right? You've got to experiment, you've got to test things out. But this is why it is vital to have the right kind of article written in order for it to go viral, because that's the goal here, okay? The big differentiation I want to be really clear about, and if you take away just a few concepts from this webinar, remember this, okay? I'm talking about stories. I don't write press releases. A lot of people confuse what I do with press releases. No, we don't release press. I don't tell you that Marcia in accounting got a promotion, or that this flower shop on Main Street has a you know, a new garage. We don't release news about your company. That's boring. Nobody reads that, okay? We craft stories that people are already reading and they want to take action on. And that action will actually get people to buy stuff. And I can prove it to you right now. Okay, consider yourself for a second. How many of you, just click that button on the left side if this is true. How many of you have ever commented, liked, or shared a news article? Go ahead and click the button there. Yes, 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 okay? So you shared something. You know, you've seen that little logo before. Sharing is caring. It is. It is. We want to share stuff because it's good, it's fun. We want our friends to see something that we find interesting. Okay, we've shared other people's articles. But now it's your turn. You've already done this for others. Now we'll start doing it for you. And the results of doing this are amazing. Let me give you a couple of quick examples and we'll get into the teaching part here. But the results are highly targeted clicks to your website, okay, when you get these things shared. And what this does when you use the news, when you use authority backlinks from a news organization, it gives a thing that SEO people call juice. A backlink from an authority site is the highest SEO juice you can get, period. Social sharing is important. Google likes them themselves, so sharing on Google Plus and YouTube is critical, but news ranks higher. When you get a backlink from an authority website, and we're talking the news channels, okay, nothing beats it. It is the top thing ranked by Google. They love news stuff. And what happens when you do this properly is that the results are your content is shared over and over and over again. Okay, it just works perfectly. Unfortunately, it's not what we're taught. This is what we're taught. We're taught to be a farmer. But unfortunately, the farm that we are taught to raise, to grow, is this single corn stalk. Remember that kernel, that corn kernel I showed you at the beginning? That's what they taught. That's what people are told to do, to build your website, to plant it, to build this thing, right? You got to build a website, and you should probably be blogging every day or every couple of days. Maybe you want to have a YouTube channel and the Facebook. Add more content, right? This is your corn stalk. And you planted it, you've grown it, you put fertilizer on it, you watered it, you spent money and time on it. And we're supposed to think and believe that if I build all this stuff, I'm going to attract a lot of business to my corn stalk. Well, here's the problem, guys. And think of this is, once you see this visual, you'll understand why this is just ridiculous. The problem is everybody is building corn stalks. Everybody is doing this. No matter how much content you put on there, no matter how much videos you put on your website, you're competing against millions of other websites because everyone's doing the same thing, not just in your industry or in your niche. I'm talking about all niches, right? So you might be in the health industry doing just a supplement or something, but you're also competing with other people in the health industry doing something different but the same niche. You're in trouble. There's a lot. I mean, do you recognize your corn stalk out there? Look at that picture. Okay. How about the world? Okay. You're not just competing with your area, with your city, your state, or your country. You're competing with the world on this, and it's not working because you're not standing out. You're a little teeny weeny buy button in the ocean of nothingness. You know, there's your website, there's your content, there's your media. It looks familiar, right? It looks like that corn stalk. Okay. This doesn't work. It doesn't work well. It doesn't work by itself. What you want, what you really need, what you're here for is to dominate your market instead. You got to think bigger. Let's take that corn stalk and say, fine, let's just build the whole farm. Okay, here's what I want you to consider. This is the think different part. Instead of focusing on your site, you've got to have your buy button. You've got to have your content there. Don't stop doing those things. It will help, but it's not going to make a bit of difference with everybody else. The only thing that's going to help you stand out from everybody else is getting information, getting content from sites that are bigger than yours. So when Fox 23 and Worth and even industry sites like Biospace or local regional newspapers from your city and state start talking about you and start pointing people to your buy button, now you're talking. Now you're standing out in your field, okay? And when that's done well, it's not just 10, 20, 30 sites. It's shared by thousands and thousands of other news sites and other people who are talking about it and pointing to your buy button. Does that make sense? Okay, here's what this all means. When you create authority backlinks, your websites get ranked higher, your articles get ranked higher, your landing pages get ranked higher, your sales pages also get ranked higher. And what that means, bottom line, is it gets your buy buttons found, which then translates to more sales, and we need to beat your competition. Okay, let me give you a couple quick examples. We had a client who was a school teacher and a smart guy, started reading books and teaching other people about some business ideas and mindset challenge, how to change your mindset, right? So he's a school teacher. We do some news articles with him. He went from zero, from a standing start, not even being an expert a few months prior to launching this. And because of his news articles, he now has consulting fees upwards of 25 grand. All right, from zero to 25 grand in a matter of months. And to boot, on top of that, his book became an Amazon bestseller, right? And this is it's #1 in business mentoring and coaching, his demographic, where a few months prior, there were people like Neil Ferrazzi, who's a New York Times bestselling author. And this young guy comes on the scene and says, I'm going to compete with him. Can you imagine competing with your A-list person in your category? Most people don't even conceive of it because it's so impossible to think about. But you can do it, and you can do it well. We did a news article for a gal a little while ago called Tracy Trottenberg, and Tracy was doing a female leadership program. And female leadership, you know, it's a slightly competitive space. We didn't talk about Tracy in our news article. We talked about President Obama's nomination of Penny Pritzker. And she being a female leadership was the title of the news story. And because we talked about that and Tracy was the expert commentator in the news story, guess what? She ranked #2 on Google. Her news story was ranked above the Huffington Post. How's that? I even beat out Forbes on my last article with a client. He was an author talking about small business becoming big ones, and a longer keyword string for sure, but it's one that was searched, you know, hundreds of thousands of times. Our news story about this topic was ranked #1 on Google, and we even beat out Forbes. Forbes is the it's the 82nd most trafficked website on the planet, and our news story for this keyword string was #1. Forbes is #5. Not too shabby. Even in Jim's case, we did an article not about Jim, not about his event coming up, but we did an article about entrepreneurism and embedded, or actually had him comment on this story. And look what happened. In 48 hours, we didn't do 1,000 hits like we talked about in the title of this webinar. Over 5,000 people hit that website saying, whoa, what is this all about? This is for a high-ticket product, right? Now, these are all great case studies, but let me tell you who this is not for. In case you're one of these people, I apologize for doing this slide at this late name of the game, but most likely nobody like this is on this webinar, but if you are, you can just save your time. If you're a get-rich-quick guy, like, hey, I want to make $1 million tomorrow, it's not it, okay? We get traffic rather quickly, but doesn't mean you can make money overnight, okay? It's also not for fake experts. The internet is transparent. News, we actually have to vet stories. So we actually do background checks, make sure that whatever you say is actually true, okay? We do fact checking on everything you state in your news article to make sure that you're being authentic. Doesn't mean you can't be a new expert, like in Lane's case. He's a brand new expert. So there wasn't anything negative we found on him. It was just good. And if you have something negative, we can actually turn that around. We'll show you about that later. So it's not for people with no product or service as well. If you have no product, then don't get a lot of traffic to nothing. Okay, let's go ahead and help you build a product, an organization, a passion, a movement, something, so that we can send a bunch of traffic and help you make a ton of money. Now, a quick confession, I personally have an advantage over most people. I have proven experience in traffic. I have a professional team, the credentials to pull it all off. Not everybody can do this, but some of you will be doing it. Some of you will be doing this. Imagine this scenario. What if an article about you, your article, happened to be shared by hundreds or thousands of times on authority news sites? And instead of 1,000, what if you had, I don't know, 5,000 hits to your website and a $97 product? 5,000 hits in the next couple of days, $97 product. And let's say your conversion was decent. You had a 10% conversion on your webpage. That's $50,000. That's not like a stretch, people. Absolutely not. I've done this for myself many times and for many, many other people. What got me there, what can get you there, is quality news articles that are shared thousands of times. Now, they've got to be positioned right. It's got to be high quality and readable and equally important, shareable content. And it's got to be done with a proven formula and with credentials. See, it's all about how you're positioned online and how you're talked about by credible and authoritative and trusted sources who actually talk about you in the right way. And there's a very simple 5-step formula for saying it right. I'm going to teach you the specifics of this proven formula right now. You ready? It's very, very simple. Number one, follow trending news. Don't try to be the news. Don't try to create your own news splash, okay? You've got to follow somebody else's trending story. Then we're going to create some compelling commentary and position you in that story, positioning it and publishing it in the news, and then getting other news agencies to share the story. Simple, right? Let's break it down. Number one, trending news. This is from a while ago, but there was a little picture about the jokes from the Justin Bieber roast. They're pretty great. 4.4 million shares. Okay, so if you got something to say about Justin Bieber, that would be a good time to do it. See, people follow trending and popular stories. And to be clear about it, a lot of news out there is negative, okay? Do not worry if the trending stories are negative or positive, because you'll either expand on the positive story or perhaps will help you reverse the negative, okay? Doesn't matter, because your audience is following. They're already reading about these events and stories and then sharing these events from news sources. You see, following the news, for most people, it's just often simply it's an escape from the challenges of their everyday lives. What our magic is we combine these two things. We combine your expertise with a trending news topic, an article. Okay, why would we do this? Like I mentioned earlier, it's in order to get people to read your stuff and to find out who you are. I don't like doing advertising. I mean, it's a distraction, right? Instead of trying to distract people from what they're already reading about, we just insert or get you in the way of where they're already looking. Okay, I call it newsjacking. And the trick is to become aware of the trending stories, spin your content by commenting on that story, and then most importantly, relate it to that very important person, right? Your customers, those ones who are searching for that news. So step one, follow trending topics. Got it? Raise your hand if you got it. Click that little hand button on the left. All right. Okay, step one, follow trending topics. Step two, create compelling opinion. The word compelling is in bold, folks, okay? I want you to give controversial statements. It doesn't do no good to agree with everybody. Oh, yeah, he's right. Oh, yeah, that's right. I agree, too. Nobody cares about that. What they care about is something that's controversial. I disagree, and here's why. Here's my intelligent or controversial commentary about that. And relating that to a direct benefit you can deliver to your audience. See, when you talk more about the trending story and the potential reader, they care about. They don't care about your stuff. They don't care about the features of your product or service. Nobody does. They care about how it relates to them. What's the benefit to them? So your story, your commentary needs to be a direct opinion about this topic. And you need to link your opinion of that topic with your audience's desired outcome. Make sense? I'll give you examples here in a minute. Give thoughtful opinion on the news that your audience is interested in. And we write an article. You know, the article is a teaser. But what that does, it demonstrates a beneficial payoff for the reader. It should answer the question that it's in there burning in their brains. What's in it for me? What's in it for your future clients? That's step 2, that compelling commentary. Step 3, now it's about the fun part, right? You, okay? Let's position you inside that story. This is the part that I want to be really clear about in terms of how you position yourself in the news, because if you haven't noticed, you know, most news is negative. It's the tragedies. We slow down for the car wreck and we look at the stuff, and there's a psychological reason for it. And a lot of my people in the self-development industry just don't even watch the news. I'm one of them. I don't really care to look at the burning buildings and who got shot today. The local news, when it comes to negative stuff, is awful. But there's a way to leverage that news to your benefit. When you are positioned as the hero of the week instead of the villain of the week, people love a comeback story. Okay, so step 3 is positioning you 100% of the time as the hero. We may work with you on a positive story. We may work with you hijacking or newsjacking a negative story, but never fear. The hero is here. You're the hero, and we're going to position you in that story as the person they want to have in their life and on their side. Okay. Step 4 is publishing it. After we positioned you and got your compelling commentary in this program, we're going to actually publish you in the news. Now, there are some choices here that you need to be very, very aware of, especially when it comes to the internet, because there's choices, right? Who is doing the publishing? In my case, I'm a journalist with Newswire. Our news stories are better pre-approved by Google News, so our stuff gets published rather quickly, generally within a few hours of the stories being submitted to our editors. Okay, there are other types of news agencies out there, so I call those garbage ones. The real ones, like Associated Press, Newswire, these are real news organizations. I get my stuff picked up by Bloomberg, by the ABC, NBC, and Fox affiliates across the country, USA Today. There's a lot of news agencies that get their news from other agencies because there's no reporters for, there's not enough people out there to gather the news individually for all organizations. So we share a lot. We pick up stories from other agencies, but we always do it from the reputable ones, not the garbage ones. And anytime you see anything out there about a free news site or submit your story to a free press release site, it's garbage. They're called content farms, and they actually hurt you online. Google knows these. They recognize them. They're very, very smart with their algorithm, and they will actually penalize you for putting your content on garbage sites. So don't do that. That's step 4, publishing it on real news sites. After it's published, now comes the fun part. Step 5, the last step, sharing it. Now, it's important to share stuff socially. There's no evidence that you shouldn't do that. You definitely want to get your stuff shared on Google+, YouTube, LinkedIn, all those things, important. But those are small compared to all the big ones. The major newspapers, who are all online now, by the way, and that's very, very important to have your stuff published there. It's very reputable. But your article's got to be shared. It's got to be not just newsworthy, but it has to be shareable, which means other people, especially the media, are going to share it willingly. And the way that happens is the story part. Okay, it's got to relate to basic psychology of human interests. For example, holidays, right? Holidays are important. We got Mother's Day coming up. Or even something like celebrities. Celebrities are always in the news. Anytime you can link your story to a celebrity or linking it to sports, linking your story to politics, any human interest story, science, disasters, or anything, any news that can be linked to your business. Let me give you a couple of crazy examples, okay? All right, you ready for this one? Maybe see if you recognize this face here. Let's say that there's a, I love this guy. Let's say it's a celebrity that's arrested, and that's in the news the next couple of days. Oh my gosh, this celebrity, if you recognize him, might have been arrested for something. Now, how can you leverage that news to your benefit? Well, if you're a life coach, you could actually comment on that story. The lead story is not you. All right, let's say someone like Justin Bieber's arrested for doing something. We don't know what. And that's the story. That's the key word that we're going to be working with. Okay, it's a celebrity's name in the news, getting arrested. In the body copy of the story, we're going to talk about Justin and what happened, and we'll make it newsworthy. Here's what happened at this time and night. This is what the witnesses saw. And then there's an expert commentary from Jane Doe here, who comments on how, yes, it's a tragedy that a young man fell down this path and blah, blah, blah. Had he only done these 4 steps, he might not have been arrested last night. And these 4 steps are A, B, and C. And they're actually showcased in my book. You can buy that book on Amazon. See how that works? We're linking your solution, your direct benefit, to the existing news story. That's it. Very, very critical. Let's take something coming up soon. We've got Mother's Day coming up. Now, this could be sort of a mundane topic for a lot of people. Doug, I don't sell flowers or jewelry. How am I going to link my business to Mother's Day and make it a perfect Mother's Day gift? You're missing the point. It's not always direct to you. Okay, it's not always as simple as that. We might want to take the Mother's Day holiday and create or find a story positioning you as the hero. The example I gave in my last webinar was something really mundane. Let's sell your company sells light bulbs. All right. Let's say your company sells green, high energy light bulbs. What a perfect gift for mom. Get her a set of light bulbs. That's not going to work. All right. Nobody's going to believe you or read that. It's just boring. However, what if you found a story of a single mom? Her husband didn't make it back from the war. And she's single mom, 4 kids, couldn't pay her light bill, behind on her rent, fell through the cracks of the social safety net in a bad way. And we write an expose about that. This woman did nothing wrong. She's working hard, trying to get ahead, and things just aren't going well for her. Luckily, Bob Jones from ABC Electric decided to do something about it. He didn't wait for the government to come and help this woman out. He just took charge. Bob Jones paid her electric bill in entirety for the rest of the year. And on top of that, he gave her a year's supply or lifetime supply of high energy light bulbs. You see, you're the hero of that story. It was a story that created emotion in people's hearts. If it's done well, it can make them cry and take action. Wow, Bob Jones actually does something for this country. Who is this guy? Oh, there happens to be a link in the article. Let me check it out. See how that works? How about something even scarier, like a government scandal, right? A government scandal, right? we have plenty of those here in America. Let's say the VA does something dastardly and embezzles some money and screws over our veterans. Like, that's never happened before. How can you link your business to a government scandal? That sounds, ooh, I don't want to be linked to the government scandal. No, you're not directly linked. You're actually the hero of this tragic story. So the scandal goes on and on. It's in the news. Nobody can do anything about it except blame and cry and try to get people, indicted for it. But Bob Jones is just sick and tired of not being able to vote in the right people. So he decides to do something about it. He takes action, says, you know what? For the next month, 10% of the proceeds from my company are going to do something to help out the veterans. We're going to donate 10% of our revenues to the Wounded Warrior Project. And where the government can't help out these guys because they're too busy battling and crying and hurting each other, I'm going to just step up. I'm going to just step up and do something for our vets. That's a story. That's a story that people like to hear about, because they're going to start off with a negative, and we're going to come in and bring you in as the hero. That's the kind of story they get shared. Okay, the sharing of the news is where the magic really occurs. When your newsworthy story is shared by others, now it becomes part of the news stream. You're not just, you're not like these advertisers trying to distract people. You are in the news. You're part of the whole deal. Okay, your story must be shared within these exclusive networks. Okay, so ask yourself next time you have a blog post or something out there, Is your story being shared by the BBC or CNN or Fox or any local news organizations? Most likely not. But it's important to get these high authority backlinks. There are search engine ranking factors. There's a very big company called Search Metrics that publishes what Google looks for in search engine ranking, that SEO thing, that thing that people talk about ad nauseum but don't understand. Let me break it down for you as clearly as I can. You only have to look at the top few of them here, okay? Not all of these, but Google loves itself. So you've got to be on Google Plus and Facebook and YouTube. You've got to have stuff there. But the number three thing, the third largest factor, the ranking factor for search engine optimization is backlinks. High quality backlinks. When you've got those high quality backlinks, that shows to Google that this is important. This is a news story that people are sharing. It must be good. I'm going to rank it higher in their search engines because when I do that, more people are going to go there, more people are going to read it, and I'll sell more ads. That's what all Google cares about, is selling more ads. And what gets them there is more traffic and more relevant traffic. And the most relevant traffic is the number of backlinks that proves to them that people are sharing the story. And to reiterate, I'm not talking about press releases. Those don't really work. In fact, Google's looked at those in the past year or so and says, you know, just these press release companies, people putting a lot of garbage out there, I'm not going to call it news anymore. They sort of separate out press releases from news. And this chart shows typical press release sites declining in terms of how much reach they get out there. As opposed to Newswire, which we do news stories, we had a 16% increase. We've trended up the past 6 months. See, Google will actually reward those people who create high quality news that's recognized by the media giants. And not just the giants, but also the local ones. Industry journals, regional newspapers, statewide, even local ones, all add to the mix of high quality backlinks. Now, I've shared with you this entire strategy. This has earned me millions. You can do this all for yourself. You can go and try to hire a professional journalist, try and get your story, picked up by an authority news site and shared. But quite frankly, that's a stretch. You don't have the credentials to actually do that. There's an old saying we've all heard, and you've heard this before, but it's not even a rule that can be bent, all right, or broken. This is just a rule that, I'm sorry, it's not what you know, it's who you know. And it's never been more true in this genre of news sharing. A viral story writing, and my credentials, so it makes this whole thing work. It basically fuses together you and your story, your content, your solution. It fuses that with the news. So we call it authority fusion. It's for a very important reason. Okay, we're going to make you the authority. We're going to make you the authentic authority and give you the results of getting your content shared by thousands of high quality, respected news organizations. We get your story told. Your news story is professionally written. It's posted in the Google News, and it's shared by hundreds of news sites. Okay, it's shared by local ones, industry ones, regional ones, statewide ones, national ones, international ones, all over the place. Matter of fact, there's so many choices of organizations. I can't even list them all on this webinar. I'm going to scroll down here a little bit to tell you some of the online sites like Daily Herald, Money Show, big websites like Ask.com or Livewire. There's a lot of them out there that are part of our network. All of these are part of our network. Equally important are those TV and radio sites. Those are the ones that are going to give you that credibility. You've seen the people that say, as seen on Fox or as seen on NBC. That's true, and it's important to have those regional players pick it up, because the national guys, they're not going to publish anybody who doesn't have some local credentials first. I'm going to talk about that when we go to the application process. But it's important to have high quality news and regional sites talking about you. Even the local ones add up. Your local newspaper, your local industry journal are all people who are very, very influential in getting those high quality backlinks to your story. Okay, When you rank above other news, when you rank above other stories, other articles, you get found, okay? What this means to you is simple. It means more prospects, more opt-ins for your project, your business, your service, more leads for you, which is what you want. But at the very end of the day, it's you want those buyers, you want more money, okay? More money, that's what you want to do. So in essence, I want to give you a little wrap up here, but I'm hired by some of the world's top marketers to do the same thing for them. And now some of you have a chance to benefit the way they do, right? Some of you. And here's the thing. Before I go into that, I want to give you, there's a tip here, okay? That's a tip to this whole thing, is that nothing's going to happen if you don't invest the time and resources to do it all, okay? It just doesn't happen. So that's the essence of this presentation. I wanted you to be very clear about what this is. This is about putting you in the news, positioning you well, getting it shared by thousands, giving you the high quality traffic so you can make more money. That's all works. It's worked for decades. So that's the way it works. I want to thank you for being on the webinar. And now I want to ask you a quick question for those of you who are still with us, okay? Would it be okay if I showed you how I can help you even more than I have so far? You can do this yourself. I've just shown you my 5-step strategy. Remember those 5 steps? Watch for trending topics. Create that compelling commentary. Position yourself in that news. Get it published and shared. And you can get found and recognized as the expert. That make sense? There's a problem, guys. You know, life gets in the way, your family gets in the way, job gets in the way. Like most entrepreneurs, maybe you're just not that good with the PR, the traffic, and the news media yet. So here's my question to you. What if you could work with me one-on-one? Better yet, click your button on the side there. Raise your hand if you'd like us to do just about everything for you I just described. Okay, there's an easy way and the hard way, right? What if I could just do it all for you? I want to introduce you to Authority Fusion. I'll be very clear about this. I want to show you how this program could help just a few of you on this webinar. Okay, and you understand why this is a limited program right now. What I'm about to show you, offer you, quite frankly, it's very time intensive on my part. In fact, there's only room for 7 people in my wheelhouse right now. You understand that when we write articles, we position people, there's a lot of manual physical work that goes into this. There's no way it can be a cookie cutter thing where I could take on 100 of you. It just is impossible. So honestly, there's only 7 spots. That's all we can handle. Here's the way it works. The first thing we do is we do brand positioning. You'll meet with me online and we'll go through your branding and positioning. And what we're going to do is establish and enhance a very unique and compelling story that will attract clients to you like a magnet. This generally takes a good amount of time. It could take upwards of 30, 40 minutes to do your brand positioning, sometimes a whole hour, to make sure that we are helping you stand out amongst your competition. Okay, it's very, very critical that you don't just, you might be a commodity, you might be selling something that everybody else is selling. How do you stand out? You need somebody who's a branding expert like us to help you with that. The second thing is you do a journalist interview. This interview could also take 30 to 45 minutes, and it helps to find out how the public will see you in the media. This interview with the journalist is also recorded. You can keep this recording, and quite frankly, it's done so well, a lot of people actually use this as a product. They can either give away as a freebie or actually sell it because the interview is so deep and so detailed about your beneficial statement to your audience. Then we actually do the news story. Now, the value of this story, I am not exaggerating, is easily $20,000. The reason this is so valuable is because it's a story that is drafted and crafted by a professional journalist. It is also run by our sales team, who is a neuro-linguistic programming expert. So your news story will be compelling. It will be emotional. It will get people to completely read the entire story. And the embedded commands, the idea in that story is to get them to go, wow, here's the hero. How can I have him rescue me? Because I may have a similar problem, issue, or concern. Okay, this whole thing takes a few days to craft, but it's done by professionals and it's done without technically overtly selling, right? It's all very subtle. It's wonderfully, wonderfully crafted copy, and you can't get this type of fusion of journalism and sales anywhere else. Then we're going to syndicate this. Once your story is out there and published, we're going to share it with hundreds and hundreds of other news organizations, generally within 2 days of publishing. So with our program, with our system for these 7 people, this is not a one-hit wonder. You get a news story about you every 2 weeks, over and over again, giving you thousands of backlinks on each story. So imagine how that adds up, because once that news is out there, it doesn't go away. We're not talking about the broadcasting yet. This is all digital media. So when it's published on ABC in Atlanta, it stays on a website for as long as ABC Atlanta decides to keep it up there, which is generally for quite a long time. So that website, that digital story is published and shared, and it sticks. The next thing we do is really critical. We do private media training with you, all right? There are so many people out there who do get started with this program work with other people generally, where they'll say, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and put you in the news. And the news people see a story and they'll contact that person and say, hey, I saw you in the local paper here. I'd like to put you on our TV station. Tell me about what you're doing. And the person bumbles and fumbles and is ineffective on the telephone. What is that person going to do? Are they going to put them on the air? Absolutely not. No, they want people who are good guests, who know how to present themselves, how to speak with a proper cadence, how to make the host look good. I want you to nail your first TV and radio magazine interview. The only way to do that is to get proper media training. That does not come easily. We'll practice it. We'll do role playing, and it's private. It's one-on-one with you. It's a very, very valuable product, and it's only available to these 7 people. After that, actually before that, you're going to need a press kit, guys. Once you've been in the news, you've got to have those links, obviously. We'll give you a report of all the news links that you've earned by being in the news with our program. Once those links are presented online, we package it up for you. We actually design for you a professional press kit. Again, when the news media actually contacts you, they're going to ask you for this. They're going to say, do you have a press kit? If you don't have one, they dismiss you because you're not professional. It's as simple as that. Without a press kit, you're not going to get in the press. There's no exceptions to this rule. There's no, oh, he'll be okay on TV. He sounded okay on the phone. Oh, he said he was in the news. No, that doesn't happen. You've got to have a professional press kit. And the only way to have one is to be in the press first. So it's a little bit of a catch-22. So we're going to put you in the news in the next couple of days, and then we're going to take those clippings, those articles, and craft and design and print up and publish, and you have it online for yourself, a professional press kit. So when the media calls, they'll look at you and go, ah, this person's a made person, ready to go. Okay, it's all custom designed for you. And then, of course, after that, you want to get ongoing coaching. So you're going to work with our Authority Fusion team to help you with your strategy and marketing plan. After you're in the news and after you're published, you want to get some of those interviews going for yourself. They might not come right away. So we'll coach you and help you align your message with the current trending stories and the future stories. So you'll get more leads and get more sales than ever before. And then I want you to stay with us in the community. We've got a members community with networking opportunities, additional video training, and some new connections. Some of those connections are journalists and bloggers and other media people who are looking for stories about your topic. In other words, if you add all this up, if you add all those components up, Authority Fusion is a $26,000 complete solution. It's complete to have you becoming and being recognized as the authentic expert. And when you're the authentic expert, you can dominate your industry. Now, this is only the start because I want to give you a couple of bonuses for those 7 people who are fortunate enough to apply and get qualified for this. Right? The first one is the thing called Buzz Tabs. Right? This is a software that is just nothing short of amazing. Once you open this thing up and use it, you'll go, holy moly, I can't believe it. In less than 2 minutes, this software will create leads for you on Facebook. It knows Facebook. It logs on Facebook. You tell it what you want, and it creates your pages for you. It will save you thousands of dollars, hours. More importantly, it'll save you hours and hours of your time. Okay, you've got to get this thing. It's a beautiful piece of software. The second bonus I'm going to give you is equally important. In addition to our private media training, I'm giving you my course. It's 21 best practices to be interviewed and published more often. Before you even take a phone call, get the media training that we're going to give you and review this course. You've got to be able to engage your audience and subtly sell your stuff. If you can't subtly sell it, then you're going to do like I have some friends who have been on the media and they get no calls. How tragic is that? To get that first interview on a local news station or even a national station and say, yes, I was on Fox and Friends. So what? If you don't make any money from it, if you don't get any leads from it, who cares? It's an ego play, right? Let's do both. Let's make you credible and get you leads, right? These are the two bonuses I want to give you. I'm going to actually give you a few more things here, okay? If you qualify, and you got to apply and qualify, I'm going to give you a graphic pack with all these logos on there, because these are the channels, these are the actual properties you're going to be published in. So once you get that published article, you want to get these logos and you actually use them on your marketing materials. And I'm going to give you the actual links. The actual links from all these places will go on your website. So these stories that happen to be published in these places will show up on your website. Those authority backlinks are permanent now. Okay? That's the thing. It's true. If you think about this, consider all that I've just described to you with the organizations and the links and the articles and the sharing and the training and the media. You will never need any other PR advertising ever again. If you want to go down the road and advertise, go ahead. Go ahead. Call the Wall Street Journal. Take a look at the rate card. Being on a quarter-page ad is $76,000. If you're bold and we want to do a third page, $102,000 to be in the Wall Street Journal. Okay, and remember, this isn't for an ad. Okay, you want a complete solution to your problems, right? Complete. Okay, so there might be one thing you might be thinking here that might have left out. So I'm going to offer something that nobody else in their right mind would ever do, and that's why this is the reason that you'll understand why I say I can only do this with 7 people. This is the reason right here. I want to give you a very, very exclusive and a very private bonus for those first 7 people. I want to give you 700 media contacts. Okay, these are people in the news. These are actual producers. These are their names, addresses, emails, and phone numbers. So after you've been in the news, after you've got those articles published, after your press kit is completely done, after you have your media training, you have a list of people you can contact, send your press kit to, and get in the broadcast news. So this contact, I can't give this out to a lot of people. It would be bad for all of us, right? So I'm only limiting this to 7 people because of this very, very exclusive and very, very valuable bonus. The total value on something like this, if you're a smart person and if you've done your homework, think about all I've described, you should be easily able to value this at over $1 million. But obviously, I'm not going to charge $1 million. That's sort of crazy. But if you add up the components I put together for you, it is a true, authentic value of over $33,864. Now, if you want to become a member of this program, I can't charge $33,000. That would only limit it to very, very few of you. Even the discounted value of $49.97 is a great deal, and that's available for you if you want to do that. At this price, the program isn't for everybody. It's probably for very few people. I'm not sure if 7 people would qualify for this on this call. I don't know. So to be fair and to get this thing pulled together, ask yourself this question, okay? What if what I do for you works for, like I did for the other people, right? What if this works for you like it did for these people? Take a look at this one. There's a story 24 hours after publishing, 1,300 views in Newswire, right? Over $17,500 in new business within a couple of days. Or this one, a utility company was exposed to dirty tactics, And the actual, you know, the actual story wasn't about the utility company. The story was about a solar energy company. And when we exposed this utility company's dirty tactics, guess what happened to the solar company? Boom. They picked up over $200,000 in new business. Okay. This one was an e-news anchor. All right. The story was about this gal, Allie Fedotowsky, who's an e-news anchor. But the client was an esthetician in Sherman Oaks. Right. She's doing facials for people. Right. We do a news story, 2,400 views on a news website. Before you know it, guess what she gets booked on? She gets booked on the doctors. She went from zero to hero in a matter of months because she was in the news. So I'm sure you agree that this program is comprehensive. It's a complete solution. At $49.97, it may be out of your reach. So I've created a way to make it more accessible for almost everyone. And this is where the 7 people comes into play, because now it's going to be available and accessible to a lot more of you than probably I can handle. So what we're going to do is I want to make this something that you can get involved with instantly. And only stay in the program if I'm going to make lots of money. Okay, would that be okay? You can access this instantly, but only stick around if it's working for you. So if I can make this entire program extremely affordable to own, would you be interested in getting involved? Click the button. If you don't have to commit right now, but just click the button. Yes, it's interesting. I'd like this. Click the little hand button there, right? Imagine getting more targeted traffic than you could possibly handle. Imagine having us do all the heavy lifting for you and being able to get started right now. Getting in the news, getting that media attention. How would that feel for you? The great news is you can. Okay, I have a very limited offer I just created, and you can get started right now for only $4.97 a month. That's it. You can stick around for as long as you like. See, this way, you don't have to pay for the whole program up front. You actually pay as you profit. That makes sense? Just $4.97 a month. Now, you want to make much more than that per month, right? Of course we do. And when you do, this program will be the best investment you will ever make. Think about it. What if you made your investment back in the first 30 days? You can. But there's only one way you can do that. That is, you've got to take action. For just $4.97, you can stay as long or as short as you want. There's absolutely no commitment to this. You got to go to authorityfusion.com/apply. Now, in fact, let me make this an easy decision for you, because the truth is, you can try the whole program without taking any risk at all. If it's not for you, it's absolutely no problem. Here's what I mean by that. Very, very simply. And this is weird because I'm going to actually publish you in the news. Okay, I'm going to actually put you in the news, guaranteed. Even though I guarantee you in the news, I'm going to protect your investment. Your $4.97 investment is protected. I want you to keep this program, but only if you absolutely love it. Use it for 30 days. Use it for 60 days. Keep going. But if you don't want to continue for any reason, your investment is refunded in full. There's no hassle. There's no questions, no problem. It's just a click of a button and boom, it's back. The only responsibility on your part, very simply, is just keep your appointments, fill out your intake form, and I guarantee you'll be in the news. The worst case scenario with this, the worst case for you is, okay, it didn't work out, Doug. I liked it, but not that much. Boom, click a button, get your money back, and what you've done, you've been in the news, and you've learned a lot of stuff along the way. I want you to feel like this is absolutely the best decision you've made all year long, okay? So if you'll allow me, and you're amongst only those 7 people, I want to give you about $1,000 worth of thank you gifts. And here's what it is. I have another program that I'm selling online. It's called Become the Authority. It is one of my absolute favorite programs I've ever created. It's a complete workbook, a blueprint. I've got 3 powerful videos in there. And the most important thing are these checklists we've created to help people position themselves as the authority with and without the news, quite frankly. We use it through a crowdsourcing technique that is rarely done by anybody out there creating their products, books, and services. Become the Authority is a completely comprehensive program. If you go on there, you can find it online. It's available for $1,000, but I want to give it to you at no charge as a gift for applying for our program. So who likes all this stuff for free, right? It's only for you if you want to try out my program right now. It's not for you if you don't want to try it out. This is only for those 7 people. And I be really clear and authentic with you about that. This special pricing offer, this ridiculously low price, is for only 7 people. And the reason is it's simple. I'm busy with my company. I'm busy writing stories for my other clients and running my business and spending time with my family. So I only have time for 7 people at this program. The total value is $33,864, and for only $497 to start and $497 a month for as long as you want to stick with it, I want to work with you and get you started and get you in the news. Still thinking about it? Are you still thinking about it? You not click the button yet? You can. You can go to authorityfusion.com, apply, and get going. But if you're still thinking about it, I want to give you one last bit of incentive that's going to blow your socks off. Now, understand what I'm about to tell you right now is not available. It's not even on my form right now because it's sort of super secret. But I'm going to give you as much information as I can so you understand what it is, what it does. But I can't give you all the links and materials yet. But I want to introduce you to, and this is only for those 7 people, the world's first crowdsourced list building program. And these 7 people, when they apply and they get started, are going to get 196,000 leads instantly. Instantly. Who has struggled here to get building their list? Oh, I'm struggling building my list. I've got 200 names. I don't have a list, whatever it is. My 7 people who get started with me on Authority Fusion will be charter membership in my crowdsourced list building program. And the beginning of this list will go to much larger numbers, but the very first day it launches with 196,000 leads. And you'll be a charter membership in this program. So who's serious about getting started right now? All it takes, guys, is $497 down, and you are in. A recap on this, you're going to get the custom strategy session, $997 value. The journalist interview, $497 value. Converting story-based sales copy, $20,000 value. Published in Google News, $1,000 value. The graphic package, $197. Those high PR backlinks, $997. The one-on-one coaching with me, $997. The media guest checklist for $197. And the media list of over 500 qualified radio producers, $5,000. My Become the Authority system at $1,000, and my professional press kit that you have to have before you can venture to be in the media, $997. It adds up to over $33,864. When you set your appointment and qualify, your investment is $497. The value, guys, for everything is over $33,000. For $497 down, $497 a month, go ahead and apply. It's authorityfusion.com/apply. So if you're ready to be the true authority, be one out of those 7 people who will have me help you hold your hand to success. So go ahead and there and apply and get started. I look forward to working with you. All you got to do is submit your deposit, fill a short form, and we're ready to rock and roll. And understand, with the way this is set up, I'm only allowing 7 people on here. I'm limited by number of consultations I have. I've got 7 spots. So you can go there right now, and we are at exactly 1 hour and 12 minutes. Any time for questions. Jim, if you're still available, I know you got to go to your kids' school stuff this morning. Any questions, people, you go ahead and ask away, and I'm happy to help you out. All right, well, good. We have 2 people already involved. All right, good job, Janice and Jorge. Okay, good. We'll see you at the on the application, and we'll talk with you soon. We got 2. Okay, so we have 5 spots. And questions. What do we have here? Let me pull up my screen here. Questions. Okay, questions. Do I get started? Yes. The way it works is you deposit is refundable during the application. Good question. The question was, is my deposit refundable if I don't qualify? Yes. The way this works, since we have a lot of people on the webinar and looking at this, we're only going to take people who we know we can put in the news with a compelling story. So the way that works is you reserve your spot. We had this conversation. Once you reserve your spot with a deposit, right? $497. Once you do that, we have the conversation. We look at your intake form and we talk about it. We go through the story ideas and we flush it out. If at the end of that call, for any reason, you or me, whether I don't think it'll work or you don't like what you're hearing, you say, it's not for me, then we click a button and your deposit is refunded instantly. There's no waiting for that. Great question. So it's not, the $497 is a reservation deposit. It's not a guarantee you'll be in the news. Once we accept it and go through the process, you're accepted and you're in. Everything works great. Good question. Will this work for nonprofits? Yes. Good question. Good question from Monica. Will this work for nonprofits as well as products and services? It works very well for nonprofits. Nonprofits desperately need more media attention and more play in the news. Unfortunately, most of them go with a direct approach about trying to position themselves as the lead story. Well, that can work, and it does work on occasion. I would have to talk to you about your specific nonprofit and how we could link you to a trending topic, because it's always easier to talk about current trending topics, what people are already looking at, than trying to become the news. Better to be inserted in the news. Okay, we have applications here. Okay, good. 2 more applications coming. Okay, we got four people in. Here we go. Jim and Steve are both in. Great, Jim. Steve, look forward to seeing you guys, talking to you in the next couple days about this. We have 3 spots left, guys. Just 3 spots left. Go to authorityfusion.com/apply, and we'll get you going and have a conversation and see if this will work for you. Any other questions? We have more questions here. No catch. You know, somebody's saying, "Oh yeah, I just spent $1,500 on doing a press release that got me nowhere. How can you do this so cheap?" Good question. So the question is, somebody else had spent 3 times as much money on a single article writing, press release, and some SEO. Because normal press releases are $300 to $500 for one single release. A lot of people wisely try to enhance those. So when we talk about what we do, we're a journalist. Most people do press releases are marketers. They're selling that system to somebody else. We skip the middleman. We are the journalists, so we don't have to go through the gauntlet. So we can do a lot more quantity of news articles about you for a lot less. So the access to the media training, the access to those building those links for you, all that is something the press releases don't do. But the most important thing they don't do is they don't tell stories. They don't get read, they don't get seen, and they don't get shared. So good question. Don't waste your money on press releases. They're okay for SEO, but they're not as good as a story that gets shared, that gets read, that gets people to take action upon. So combining that with our media training is going to make a big difference for you. Good question. Okay, good. Okay, one more. Great. 4, 5, 6. We have 6 spots filled up. We have 1 left. So if you can go to authorityfusion.com/apply. I've got 6 people coming in. I got 1 to go here. I look forward to talking with you. And any more questions? Well, I'm going to end this up. It's been a little over an hour here. I want to wrap it up. No more questions. Nope. Okay. No more questions. We're good. I want to close up and just thank you so much for investing your time with me today on the webinar. And I look forward to these first 6 people, and we'll keep this open until we get to 7. Then it will close. So if you're watching the replay, there may be a spot left, maybe not. But all those bonuses are included, and I look forward to working with you, putting you in the news, and establishing you as a credible, authoritative expert that people know and recognize in the media. This is Doug Crowe at Authority Fusion. Go to authorityfusion.com/apply and look forward to meeting you. Thanks. Bye-bye.